Angel Spice here. I hope you're sitting comfortably for our next story, but chief amongst things, do you have your tea so you can enjoy the story along with me? Anyways, so this story of an angelic encounter is set in Ireland and it features Cara, who is due to meet her friend at a pub. And she got there before her friend arrived, so she thought she'd go in there herself and sit at the bar and wait for her. So she did exactly that. But she realized shortly afterwards it wasn't a good idea. She felt very alone sitting at the bar by herself, and she began pondering her life and recent events, and the general purpose of her life and its direction, and she became quite depressed. One thought after another. Suddenly tears started cascading down her face, and she felt very sad and lonely. She reached for a napkin and dabbed dry her face. Suddenly there was a very warm presence behind her, and she turned, and there was this tall, slender man with very dark hair and piercing eyes. And he said, "Are you okay?" And she just sort of gently explained things to him. She felt very embarrassed that she'd been caught crying, although he was behind her and hadn't seen her crying. So he sat down beside her, and they began talking deeply about her life, and he said to her, "Remember, Cara, you're a diamond." And she asked him, "What do you mean by this?" And he said, "Well, diamonds reflect light, and your purpose is to reflect light. Everybody has a purpose, and yours is to reflect light." And so she probed him further, and they got quite deep. Meanwhile, her friend arrived, but for some strange reason, her friend got distracted by somebody else in the bar, which enabled her to carry on talking to him. She said to him, "Who are you, by the way?" And he said, "Oh, I'm the new waiter here. I've just began working here. I'm the new waiter." But they continued to talk about their profound discussion spiritually and what her purpose was. After a short while, Cara began to feel so much better. He had such deep answers and a way of looking at it kaleidoscopically that made sense every time he answered her questions about her life, and she had this deep sense of knowing that he was resonating with the truth, and the truth in what she ought to be doing or thinking with her life. Eventually they parted ways, and Cara joined her friend. She knew after that evening what she wanted to do with her life, Cara, and she was so ever full of gratitude that she had met him and discussed things with him. And her friend even reflected on the fact that she was weirdly distracted as soon as she saw her in the bar with him. And the more they talked about it, the more they thought it was the encounter of destiny. They were meant to have this discussion together because he opened up and expanded her way of thinking in ways that she hadn't done before. Anyhow, she was so enamored by the discussion that she went back to the bar just to rekindle some of the feelings that she had whilst talking with him. And she asked the waitress there where he was, this new waiter. And she said, "What? There is no new waiter. We haven't hired anyone new for years, and certainly no one of that distinct description." And Cara was astounded by this. She thought it was very strange she'd had this deep conversation with this unusual looking man with unusually profound answers. Eventually, she put it down to the fact that she had met an angel who turned up just in time to counsel her in her hour of need and provide all the answers for her life on stretching into the future. It was divine. It was destiny. Her life would change from that moment onwards, now that she had the logic and the reasoning and the insight and the gumption to move forward with the direction she discovered with him for her life to go in. So she did. She chalked it down to an angel. Of course it must have been. How else could he have seen her crying when he turned up behind her? And she felt his presence before she saw him. Does it give you goosebumps or chilblains or something? Anyway, so I hope this story touched you and it resonates with you, and I hope it gives you some peace inside, because you'll never know where or when the angels will turn up for you, or how much they have been helping you recently or in the past or in the future. But do ask them for their help, because that's when they rejoice. They want to help. But they can't help unless you ask. So I hope this story touched you today, and I hope you'll invite angels of 100% love and light into your life to go before you and inspire you to higher perspectives on things. Take care. I'll leave their love with you. God bless.